commercial bag. Python, I don't go no ice on. Nothing but shaved pussy in my iPhone. And this right here a no-fly zone.
Cut, bitch, camera on, real shit, blasting. I had to give you.
Chains on this 2-pound, make your girl buy new hair. Wear that pussy out like new gift, ho.
Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit.
Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it. Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it. Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it. Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it.
Fuck yeah, bitch, throw it back, don't be scared of it. Fuck yeah, bitch, throw it back, don't be scared of it. Fuck yeah, bitch, throw it back, don't be scared of it. Fuck yeah, bitch, throw it back. Throw it back. Throw it back. Throw it back. Don't be scared of it.
Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit. Do my dance on your dick, oh, you know you love this shit.
Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it. Do my dance on your chick, who you know she love it.
In the video, fuck with me, hella raw. Got a little twerk for a star. Got it from the like Christina, got a million. Man, I'm a good guy, turn to a villain. Bully in the pack, turn to a rag. Pussy on my jack, I hit the bitch with a car bomb. Bombs in the lake, bombs in the bay, nigga, you ain't safe. I from a niggas like, oh dog, all we do is ball. All we do is ball. Now I'm passed out, lean in the drop, ice in the watch. Nigga, that's Ben and Jerry Dollars. Watch a nigga make a stack house. Gingerbread man, run while you can. All you niggas lame, Tully on me, got killers on speed dial. Infrared blam, if a nigga shout, don't get packed out. Probably hit a paparazzi when I back down. Can you see now? 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 When you see a nigga, don't be acting see now.
Sky roll a check, helicopter pad, dropping off a body bag. Money talk, guess I got the gift for gab. Don't interject, don't intercept. You ain't on a jet, you ain't need a bitch with this kind of money. Yeah, I gotta order more, I ain't set the time once. And I know they say they shine, I ain't see them shine once. All these rappers is my sons, and I'm always 9 months. But if this was baseball, I ain't let him slide once. Do you see now? You playing D now? Oh, you wanna beat me how? Oh, you the #1 draft in the league now? Ride down your block, doors cover clock, Lambo to drop. Bike niggas ain't stopping for a cop. I got this shit locked tighter than a bear hug. When them bitches rap, niggas need an earplug.
Can you see now? 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 When you see a nigga, don't be at the sea now. Ride with the heat, trunk full of beat bomb like the Middle East. I got killers in the street. Ride with the heat, trunk full of beat bomb like the Middle East. I got killers in the street.
Ride with the heat, trunk full of beat bomb like the Middle East. I got killers in the street. Ride with the heat,
trunk full of beat bomb like the Middle East. I got
killers in the street.
Nigga got a problem, see about it. Knock a nigga off, beat the body. I'm just making all these deposits, neighborhood nice and quiet. Thought I saw Mr. Rotten, nigga. I can sell salt and equal lots. Wait, I said I can sell salt and equal lots. Boy, I got every award but a Heisman. Do a drive-by on you niggas. Make a U-turn for survival. Take a newborn from his mama. Stick a shoe on their pajamas. Got the coupe on Yokohamas. Got the super soaker chopper. We're kidding at the kingpin. Like, who is your supplier? Nigga better know the fire. Nigga better know somebody. I know niggas that'll kill you for a little notoriety. I can make the line say me out. I'm in the North Bank getting married to the sea like.
Can you see now? 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 When you see a nigga, don't be at the sea now. Can you see now? 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 can see now. Can't see now. When you see a nigga, homie, I can see now.
Mike Will,
Hey, nah, nah, nah. Tell me what you think we asking for. I just want a better world. Do the impossible. Sing it with me now.
hold up.
What you think we out here working for?
Rich gang.
I just want a better world. Do the impossible.
Bought the Benz for my baddest bitch. And let my niggas drive that motherfucker. I swear that court won't minimize the motherfucker. Pray for us, cause we be in and out that motherfucker. Lord, help us, Lord. My bitch is beautiful, hell in the car. Just like assume I get asked from the start. I flip the script when they cast for the part. You ain't talking to me if you ain't talking money, my nigga. Straight the numbers, my nigga, and I'm number one like my muscles got bigger. Like my puzzles got figured. I spoil my kids, they so starving, my nigga. This is how shit is supposed to be done. Rolling on my wrist and around my nigga. Got a chain of commands and a full chain on. Shout out my dogs looking at them four walls. Shout out Candace for accepting my calls. Impossible ain't impossible at all.
Hey, nah, nah, nah. Tell me what you think we asking for. I just want a better world. Do the impossible.
Do it.
Sing it with me now, nah, nah, nah. What you think we out here working for? I just want a better world. Do the impossible.
Do it.
Nigga do that shit, nigga done that shit. Nigga any problem better overcome that shit. 20 gold bottles, I'ma drink on this shit. 20 songs that I'm on, number one that shit. My name go ring and my team go win. I shot a nigga one side, do this shit again. Put your hand on the power till they get it down to it. Give it to you how you want, ho. I'ma show you what this west side shit about. I'ma pull up in a rubber, get you grandma my house. Hey now, she got a nigga name in her mouth. Hey now, T-O-T-N-O to M-O. I mean, my M-O is zero, so commas, I promise. Like go tell your mama, this dick ain't for free. This dick ain't for free. Touch that, I need cash back, transaction. I bust back in an all black grand national. Hood rats in the project. If you ask them, they wanna buy the world, 10 racks on their taxes. Holiday cheers, Sally make checks with a bottle to the neck. Then you get it how you live. Catch me if they can. I switch gears and switch lanes. You know just what my mind's on. These days is singing with me. Hold on. We just wanna ball like a grown up. Tell them catch me if they can. I switch gears and switch
tune off the rip. That's the man that put me in the shit. If a nigga fuck with him, I put him down quick. Got a verse for anybody who won't talk about the clip. I've been taking shit like y'all don't wanna hear me trip. Goddamn, do y'all really know who y'all fucking with?
You came when you called.
On the road, I do One Direction numbers, I don't fucking miss. Yeah, Stunner and Magno. When Wayne was gone for 8 months, we put this thing up on our back, and I was snapping off on every single track though. Collect card from the boss, like where we at, no. I was like, huh, it's our time, nigga. He left Rikers in the Phantom, that's my nigga. And I be rocking with the Tina Carter 9. And we YMCMB waiting on somebody to try us, nigga. Yeah, I'm the only one to get the job done. I don't know a nigga that could cover for me. Yeah, got some game from my days. So she might say she love me, she don't love me like she said she love me. Believe me, believe me. I'm that nigga boy that love me in the street. I'm not trying to find nobody else to be. I'm the one they come to see because they are. Believe me. Lord knows I murk one of these now. His and hers Ferraris, nigga. One for me, one for my daughter, nigga. Waiting for someone to test me like a Harvard, nigga. I told her 223, 2 Michael Jordans, nigga. Come on, fight these shell casings like a lawyer, nigga. Find out where you stay and act like we find some oil, nigga. Out of duct tape, so when he praying, I ignore the nigga. All I gotta say is sayonara, nigga. Drop dead gorgeous, but the bitch ain't dying for a nigga. Where the real queens at? Shout out to Pone and Noriega. We can shoot it out and see who lived to tell a story later. Diamonds in my rolling face cannot be exfoliated. They think I'm associated. I'm the one that orchestrated. Yeah, yo, get her ass whipped. Whip that ass like Hudson's race. It ain't about what you walk away from. It's about what you walk away with. Dead presidents, them coffins vacant. I'ma be doing something. I'm the only one to get the job done. I don't know a nigga that could cover for me. Yeah, got some game from my days. So she might say she love me, she don't love me like she said she love me. Believe me, believe me. I'm that nigga boy that love me in the street. I'm not trying to find nobody else to be. I'm the one they come to see because they are. Believe me. Rip. Had to get it poppin' off the rip. Rich young nigga that ain't never had the trick. Slim thug flow, but you know I like 'em thick. If she get a job at DOA, I drop her off a tip. I had to get it poppin' off the rip. I'm the one that tell you been rapping in the 6. Coming to the city and your niggas get the trippin'. We'll take you to the Scarper Bluff and drop you off a cliff. Well, damn, just be happy for the man. Nirvana, Coldplay, nigga got bands. Ink from the money, got it all over my ass. Going out to Houston, spending all of my advance. Be live, just tell me for a check. Drake, you know I love you, you just took me out of debt. Yes, right now you are looking at the best. Motherfucker war shows a motherfucker press like that. Motherfuck the rest. When they jumped off the porch, I was stumbling up the steps. I give what I collect before I give up my connect. It be a cold day in hell. Ice sickles made it sweat. One finger sliding across my neck. Niggas know what that mean, like they deaf. Nigga, I fire this Nina like this. Our first day on the job and the bitch overslept. Tune stay home.